So I guess my closing remark would be that, research can be very helpful in trying to craft a message that can then resonate with the legislator. And it's really important to have all of your facts and have that research available when you're meeting with that legislator, and to have other resources available for follow-up. So,
on research, I wrote down, electeds want to sound smart. So if you have research, for example, the $1.1 billion economy that the arts industry creates for Illinois is key. I mean, I burn those numbers into my brain because when I want to advocate for something, I want to be able to say, I mean, I threw a number at you earlier that the median age in my neighborhood is 21.5, and which means that there's 30,000 of my constituents are under the age of 21, and half of those are under the age of 9. I got that from some education research firm that came to advocate for me, advocate me on behalf of their school stuff. So when you do research, and it's obviously credible research, it gives us the opportunity to adopt your nuggets, your info, when we're advocating on your behalf. I mean, this $1.1 billion, I'm probably going to remember. I have to say things 3 times before I actually remember them, so that's why I'm saying it 3 times. The $1.1 billion that the arts community creates in the economy is key to us to be able to advocate on your behalf. So that research is key for when you're coming to talk to us.
And if we get him to say it one more time, we've got an advocate.
I did 3.
Here.
I did 3. That's just a rule of mine.
And I'll, before we get to our next question, I'll throw out a couple more numbers in terms of that research. The research tracked the spending by nonprofit arts organizations and their audiences, and it found that the arts are a $1.1 billion industry in Chicago. 2 other numbers worth noting: 30,000. That's the amount of jobs supported by the nonprofit arts and their audiences. 30,000
in Illinois?
In Chicago. 30,000 full-time equivalent jobs. And the last number that I'll give you from that report, and we'll be sure to get you copies of the full report, is 103 million. 103 million is the amount of local and state tax revenues generated by our nonprofit arts industry in Chicago. The next question, and I'd like for each panelist to respond to the question, is on technology. Technology has really changed the political landscape in our country as well as the advocacy landscape. I'd like for you to say a word about how technology has impacted you, whether it's through your communications outward to the world or through how you receive information. And Megan, I'd love for you to say a few words about how technology has impacted your efforts to advance healthcare in Illinois. And why don't we start with Scott and work our way down, if you don't mind.
Technology, okay. I actually use technology pretty extensively, not just email, but one of the issues that I want to work on in my ward is really bringing technology to the forefront on streets and sanitation issues, crime issues, and really focus in to use technology to find out where needs are throughout the ward. We use, I believe they have some GIS programs, which is Global Information System type stuff, that you can pinpoint where problems are, you can pinpoint where you might have issues on a daily basis, a monthly basis. And I've used those in projects that I've worked on overseas, and I'd like to bring that same type of technology here. The other thing that I'll be working on is just websites, and you know how important websites are. I think it's important for an alderman, important for an elected official to have a decent, actually much better than decent website to share information with residents, constituents, or people throughout the city. And I think that on top of that, if you can do a blog also helps to kind of get that information out there. One of my state reps is John Fritchie, and I go to his blog all the time to find out information when I'm not speaking to him about what happens in Springfield. So when an issue like healthcare comes up, and I believe he's an advocate of what's happening down there with that issue, I'm able to go there and plug in the information, as Alderman Munoz said, to really start using that research that someone's already done, to start using the catchphrases and the information that's out there, so that if you are an advocate for issues like healthcare, if you're an advocate for issues that affect the art world, you can really tap in and use technology in different ways to share information to speed up the process, so that you have that information at your fingertips. When you come to an event like this tonight, you're prepared with the numbers, with the information to share with people. Very simple way to go about it.
To echo on the website mention, it's been a challenge for our organization. We're state-based, but fairly small. We only have 2 offices, and we're constantly looking for more and more foundations that will try to support building technology and building that infrastructure. It's amazing how website technology has even changed in the last 5 years, and trying to keep up with those changes and those new programs and how to make your website look appealing and come up high on a Google search. I mean, these are all very complicated things that I don't always know much about, but our website is an incredibly powerful tool for having all the information that we could ever want to share with the public up there for anyone's access. And we feature publications there. We feature personal stories of a lot of our members who have healthcare problems. You can fundraise through websites, and there's constantly more innovation in trying to do that. So the website is a very, very important tool. We also make use of a lot of listservs. You know, it's amazing as this legislative session is moving forward, things change day by day, and luckily we do have the ability to communicate with our members, you know, in that daily kind of way by sending out a listserv and saying, okay, there's going to be a vote in the Senate in 2 hours, so make your phone call now, and here's the information that you need about your phone call, which would just be physically impossible if we were just picking up the phone and making phone calls to everyone. So there definitely is a new world of advocacy, and I think that there's a lot more to explore in the coming years as people further develop that art of trying to use technology. So.
Technology has reinvented the world of advocacy, because emails and text messages and what's going on has basically leveled the playing field. Your typical kind of lobbyist that has access to the electeds as the only one that has access is no longer the case, because now, as Megan mentioned, hundreds of people know what's going to happen at 2 o'clock today in the legislature, so at 1 o'clock everybody's calling, not just the lobbyist that happens to be sitting outside in the lobby waiting for the elected official to talk to them. So it's leveled the playing field. But all I can say about technology, it's a blessing, but it's also a curse. Because my inbox, as I imagine yours, each day gets hit by about 250 to 300 emails that, and this is my personal email, not the city email, because I don't even see that one. The staff gets that one because those are all requests for garbage cans and tree trimmings, and we're just going to process those. But my personal email gets about 250 to 300 hits a day that, it takes you a good 45 minutes just to go bleep, 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 read, bleep, 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 oops, go back. So it's a blessing, but it's also a curse. So, but we have to figure out how to use it better and effective for being able to lobby for public interest initiatives.
The purpose of us being here tonight is to talk about advocacy and how to be effective advocates. But I'd like for each of the panelists to say a word about some don'ts, some mistakes that you've seen, or in terms of approach, or individuals who are looking to educate you on an issue or cultivate a relationship. What are some common mistakes that you've seen, or some things that you'd encourage people to avoid doing? And I'll start with Megan because she's nodding.
Okay.